Korematsu versus the United States. By Julia Merce and Maddie Flater. Fred Korematsu was a Japanese-American citizen living on the West Coast at the beginning of World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Executive Order 9066 was issued by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, giving the military permission to remove Japanese individuals and place them in internment camps. Korematsu underwent plastic surgery in hope of passing as Caucasian so he wouldn't have to go to internment camp. In May of 1942, Korematsu went into hiding. A few weeks later, he was seen on a street corner and was arrested. Shortly after Korematsu's arrest, Ernest Bisig, the director of the American Civil Liberties Union, approached him and asked if he would be willing to use his case to test the legality of the internments. Korematsu agreed and was assigned civil rights attorney Wayne M. Collins. Korematsu felt that people should have a fair trial and a chance to defend their loyalty at court in a democratic way, because in this situation people were placed in imprisonment without any fair trial.
Who was ultimately responsible for Japanese-American internment? While Congress ratified Executive Order 9066 in March 1942, and the military carried out orders, the decision of internment ultimately fell before the Supreme Court. In 1943, the sharply divided court issued its ruling on Korematsu versus United States. A majority of justices upheld the exclusion and internment of all citizens of Japanese ancestry from the West Coast. Chief Justice Harlan Stone supported internment, calling it a military necessity. But Justice Frank Murphy called a majority opinion legalized racism. And Justice Robert Jackson warned of rationalizing the Constitution for periods of military emergency. The decision would become one of the greatest disgraces of our judicial system. One of the basic questions was this: should the Bill of Rights be evaluated differently in times of war? Today, our government stresses tolerance toward Arab Americans and Muslims. Yet since September 11th, the Department of Justice has arrested and detained more than 1,200 people with Arab or Muslim backgrounds. After the Korematsu case, Justice Jackson wrote that the Supreme Court's responsibility is to uphold the values and beliefs of our Constitution, despite threats to our national security. History will march forward and times will change. But the decisions of the Supreme Court will live on, in policy and precedent, long after the threat is gone.
Now it's your turn to answer a question. Should the Bill of Rights be interpreted differently in times of war? That's a wrap for today.
But tune in next time when we continue our exploration into civics.
So don't miss out. It's all right here
on TLC Elementary School.
On June 12, 1942, Korematsu had his trial and was given $5,000 bail. Bisig and Fred attempted to leave, but Fred was convicted of violation of Public Law Number 503, which criminalized violations of Executive Order 9066. He was placed on 5 years probation. He and his family were placed in the Central Utah War Relocation Center and became unskilled labor, only receiving $12 per month. Korematsu appealed to the Supreme Court, which granted review. In a 6-3 decision, the court stated what happened was justified during circumstances of emergency in Europe. President Bill Clinton stands with Fred Korematsu after awarding him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. Korematsu receives this medal for his challenges to civilian orders during World War II. At times of war, civil liberties can, but shouldn't be